So, good evening, everyone. Thanks again for coming on a Tuesday night, logging in to learn kind of what the next steps look like as far as college goes. This invitation was sent out to families from middle school all throughout high school. And so when we're looking at the RSVPs, what I noticed there's a lot of families with young students who had registered, which is so great. I'm always such a big advocate for college awareness, and it's never too early to learn information about what the college journey looks like. And it's also great for seniors as well because I think at this point there are these freak out moments of okay, what I'm going to do next. What is life going to look like after I graduate from high school? But you are with a team of people in the room that will help you navigate through all this stuff, answer all your questions, because you want to make sure that we address every concern that you have that's on your mind right now. And don't hold back on your questions. I mean, whatever is on your mind, please put it out there because the whole goal of tonight is to really help everyone here navigating through what we call the next steps. Let me throw out some links into the chat. And so these are the folks that are bringing this to you all. So special shout out to HawaiiUSA FCU and as well as the team from Hawaii CAC. We are just I guess you safe to say, team, we're just a bunch of passionate people that just wants to make sure you and your child kind of know what the college journey looks like, and we want to provide whatever resources we can to just kind of make the journey less intimidating. What I'm going to do tonight is actually do a summary of a video series we did a few months ago, and you can review it all on our HACAC YouTube page. There's topics that are geared towards middle schoolers through non-seniors, so about juniors. And there's actually another video specifically for seniors. And so you may want to take some time to look through those videos. Very informative, very detailed. Because today I'm just going to do kind of like an overview of what was covered in those two past sessions, kind of touching on some key points. And so I'm pretty sure this is how we're feeling at the moment. I am a parent of a high school senior, so I am this person multiplied by 1,000. And so I kind of know for those next step families out there, I feel you. I'm freaking out. My wife's freaking out. Not so much my son, so he appears such, but that is how I'm feeling at the moment. And again, we're here to just kind of walk you through the whole process. What we're going to cover today is a lot about that topic. You may hear this a lot, the topic of fit. And so we're going to look at academic, social, and financial fit. And we're going to close it out with really touching on the financial part because that's going to be a huge piece. And we were talking earlier before we let everyone in. The topic of how am I going to finance college? How's that going to look like? I think that's going to be a very real conversation. And so, like I mentioned, if there's questions sitting in your mind right now, put it in the chat. And this is a very fluid conversation, fluid workshop. And so, as questions come to mind, please put it in the chat. So, as a review for all those families out there, those again on the younger side, also even the seniors, just a recap of what the different kind of colleges are out there or post-secondary options for you. It's listed right there on the screen. So there's many options when it comes to life after high school. Yes, there's college, but there's also folks taking a break, maybe joining the military, going to work, things like that. And so you just want to make sure that you understand the wide range of options that are out there for youth as they exit out of high school. Um, everyone talks about college, but sometimes it could be the timing, it could be the situation in life, but just know that there's a whole lot of options out there after high school. And these are just maybe some of it that we are most familiar with. There could be more, but these are the ones that we're most used to seeing. Community colleges, 4-year gap year, military or apprenticeship programs, and just going straight to work. So just you guys have a lot of options. So this is where having a very open conversation with your families, maybe with your not maybe with your college counselors wherever you go in high school. I cannot emphasize enough how important the college counselors at your high schools are just an important resource as you're going through this journey. There's a lot of representative I would say Tyler and myself, we both represent colleges, but even when we visit the schools, we just love to talk to students and families about how to kind of navigate this whole journey. Again, you want to have that honest, open conversation about what you think college is like. I remember having this conversation. I was at this high school the other day and I was asking them what grade they were. They told me, oh, I'm in 10th grade. So I asked them, what is 10th grade like? And so the common conversation that came up was fear, overwhelmed, pressure, like just a lot of high anxiety words. And so we just kind of spent some time not really talking about KCC. I was there as a college fair, but we just wanted to talk about what those feelings were like and how they're going to navigate and manage those feelings as they enter their junior year. And so again, open conversations, and also really touching on what is their priority and then what they're willing to sacrifice. So everything you see on that screen there, like why go to college? These are all very important topics when you're kind of going through that college journey. So what is that fit? So these are some of the deal breakers, and the important topic you want to see, or the important words that you want to see at the bottom is what criteria are important to you. So these are very important kind of self-reflection headings that you want to address. Like, what is a deal breaker? What's going to be a must-have, and what's going to be like a nice to have? These kinds of conversations don't happen in one sitting. Sometimes it's a long conversation through the years. And so for those families who are here with middle schoolers, start the conversation now. Like when you ask them, what does college mean to you? You may want to write down kind of the things that rise to the top and maybe revisit those topics as you enter their ninth grade year, 10th grade year, 11th grade year. Just kind of revisit these topics. Find out if the must have changed to nice to have, or the nice to have changed to must have. And so it's kind of, in fact, it's great to just kind of keep that journal somewhere so that you have something to fall back on. And then again, just kind of recap that journey to see if anything's changed, if what your priorities shifted, and how you define what's important is still kind of there. And so again, having that very open, honest conversation. Academic fit. Again, we're going to read through this, know your learning styles. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Kind of knowing what a academic calendar looks like, and everything that you see on this list here. You want to have this laid out somewhere. And again, I will make these slides available to everyone after the presentation is done. But these are other big topics to have when you're talking about that next step. You're talking about what your college life is going to look like. And so these are just some of the things that rise to the top when we talk about academic fit. Learning styles. Um, these two students are going to kill me that I'm going to share this example. So one student really loves the big colleges, and so he's eyeing out Arizona State because he wants that big, kind of huge campus vibe. I had a conversation today with another student of mine who's going to go off to UH Manoa next fall. She's actually very afraid of the lecture halls. The one class that she was going to enroll in had about 298 seats, and she is freaking out. And so she is kind of leaning more towards looking at what's going to kind of fit her needs in a maybe smaller setting. And so she's kind of identifying her learning styles at this point. Right now, she is one of those students that entered college during the height of COVID. So she's used to virtual. And so stuff like hands-on, or if she's motivated about the structure, she's kind of processing that right now. So for you out there, you want to think about, even the students who are in this room, you want to think about, like, what is your learning style? What is going to be that fit? And then going back to that example I shared with you, there are some students who will thrive at large campuses. There's others that maybe not so much. And so when you think about what college is going to look like, these are the kind of sizes that are out there. And so even though, let's say, UH Manoa seems very attractive, when you look at a classroom of 298, that might be overwhelming. So perhaps I might go to Hawaii Pacific University, a little bit smaller. And so there's no one better than the other. It's kind of going, again, back to the fit. So again, having, sorry to sound like a broken record, but you want to have those honest conversation to find out what's going to be that right fit. Again, if there's questions, feel free to throw it in the chat. Um, and we are happy to answer all of them. These are some of the examples of what smaller colleges look like. So for those young families out there, just kind of take a look at what kind of is identified as a smaller college. These are some of the traits of those smaller schools. Think about what's going to be important. These are your larger schools, and the different traits that come with that as well. And so, again, the differences between a small college and we call large to extra large colleges. Uh, True story, when we took our son to this one fairly big institution, we did one of those college tours. He did not like the bigger schools. He just was, it was a little bit too much. It was a little bit too overwhelming. So when we started to visit the smaller ones, he felt he could see himself in that setting. And so it's kind of those things where maybe those name brand schools sound super great, but for him, it was just that. For him, he wanted to see where he could fit in and thrive. And so that was really important. That was really great to see that he was able to see within himself what's important to him and then make kind of those kind of decisions moving forward. So again, small, large, extra large. I'm not 100% sure why we didn't put medium in there, but we'll save that for another slide. Here's social fit. And so that's another thing. When we talk about when I was talking to this one student of mine who really wants to go to Arizona State, he just loves the big, high energy campus. So for him, these social fits are going to be different from the other student that I met today. And so it's really taking a deeper dive and looking at what's going to be a great fit for that particular individual. My youngest son, take for instance, we were talking about college last night. And for him, he told us, which was amazing to me, he said, I want to go to a school that's surrounded by trees and nature. And that just came out of nowhere. And so I thought, but that's perfect. We told him, let's talk about that. And so we just, Lucy talked about different states where different colleges are located, differences between urban and rural. And so it was nice to have that conversation. It was nice for him to realize what he liked and didn't like. And so that came with the discussion around social fit. For some, the social fit also includes like what you see on the screen here, athletics, clubs, that is important to some, maybe not important to others. So again, it's good to explore through either the college's website, their YouTube pages, going to college fairs, asking all these questions. I think in the fall, we have our major college fair that's happening in October, but there's going to be fairs kind of year round. And so I encourage your child to attend these fairs, your families as well, and ask those questions about what are your clubs like? What is your campus life like? How involved is your student congress? How involved is your RAs? Things like that. So ask all those questions at all the schools so that you have a really, as much as a complete picture as you can of what that social fit is going to look like. So this is a big one, the financial fit. And I think this is where, and again, we were talking earlier of how one's financial aid package is not going to look the same to the person next to you. I'm literally pointing next to me because sitting next to me is our financial aid team. And they'll tell you that there's no black and white answer when it comes to what my financial aid is going to look like. The answer is always, it depends. And so it's important to know that the whole process is free. And so when you're going through the financial aid process, you definitely want to go through it just so that you kind of know what the process is like. And perhaps that's where you can kind of see where the aid might come from, or even finding out what that financial fit's going to be. I'll share this next slide because this is where it gets kind of a little bit of a reality check. So I have a coworker, daughter got into Berkeley, super excited, but she was a non-resident going into the UCs. So they're trying to find every way possible to make it work because in her mind, getting into Cal Berkeley was a big deal. But if you look at the price tag, for us non-resident, having gone through that same process as well, going to one of the UCs was very expensive. Same for this particular family. On that same application journey, the student got a full ride to UH Manoa. So it ended up being this larger conversation on what's going to be a good financial fit. And so it was tough because she got into Berkeley, she got into UH Manoa. What is she going to do? So at the end of the day, they decided to go to UH Manoa because she got 4 years for free. And so that allowed her to do a whole bunch of other stuff. She wasn't tied down to these crazy amount of debt. They didn't have to make a huge amount of sacrifices, but she was able to get a really great education with money to spare. And so you want to keep that in mind and have those conversations open. Like when you go and you see these, I guess we'll call it these brand name schools, it's like you got to think about the bigger picture. Is it going to be an academic fit? Is there going to be a social fit? Is it going to be a financial fit? And then I think having those real conversations to find out what's going to be the right path will lead to the decision. I think at the end, whatever decision is made is going to be the right one. For this particular coworker of mine, I mean, the fact that she got 4 years free to Manoa just allowed her again to do so many other things, to just kind of make her college journey just a fulfilling one. And she just had a great time going through UH. In fact, I think she might have finished in 3 years. But anyway, so again, many different scenarios when it comes to a financial fit. For those younger families out there, even for the seniors out there, sometimes um, it's not too late. Maybe for some of the scholarships, there's still some available at this stage in the game. You just never know. But you want to just go through all these resources. This is more of a college search site. Continue to have these conversations. Sorry, I'm kind of leaping back and forth here, but going back to the open conversation and then going back to the financial aid part, it's this just again, understanding what the different types of aid that's out there. There's merit based aid, need based aid, and even that, again, there's no clear formula on who gets what. You just want to go through the process, do the FAFSA, apply for scholarships, and just see what happens. It's important to remember that FAFSA, applying for scholarship, there's no cost to do it. I worked with another student who actually paid a fee to get her FAFSA done and ended up being this total scam. And so luckily nothing happened. She did give out her SSN and we were cringing just a little bit, but luckily nothing awful happened. And so again, going through the FAFSA, talking to your high school counselors, getting those scholarships can help maybe paint that picture and what your next step could potentially look like. Money's a big deal. You want to have that bigger conversation. Things to think about too. WUI schools could be another option. Doing the whole transfer thing. This is going to sound totally biased, but as a counselor at Kupi Online Community College, students have started out with us, lower tuition, and transferred out. So there's always that option. But again, going back to that very first slide, just really understanding what the post-high landscape looks like will really help make those options look kind of a lot, but at least you have a lot on the table to choose from. And so just know that there's a lot of ways to pursue your post-high options. And this is just one of them. All right. Oh, sorry. Scholarships. These are just some of the websites to research. Just yesterday, the HACAC scholarship closed. So that should give you an idea of kind of the range of when you can apply for scholarships. It runs from like around October all the way through April. My son's going to kill me for sharing this, but one of the toughest things to do is to write those essays. And so for those juniors out there, if you have essays in the queue, save them. You're going to be revising them a lot. There's quite a bit out there that might ask for multiple essays, but just set aside some time to write those out, because if you think about it, let's say you get an award for $2,000 based on that essay. Think about that in terms of like an hourly wage. You just spent maybe a couple of hours writing an essay and you get 2 grand out of it. And so if you do a bunch of that, who knows what you get at the end of the day? You might get your whole tuition covered. So put in the effort, totally worth it. It's going to take some time. It will be brutal, but I think the payout will be very much worth it. So what is next? So I think this might fill up the chat quite a bit. I think this is the stage where a lot of seniors are maybe figuring out what to do next because maybe they got waitlisted. For us counselors out there, we got this email about some of the waitlist fact sheet. I just took a snapshot out of it. Each school will have a different way of how they wait list students. So you want to go through each site and read through it very carefully. Reach out to those reps. Um, have again that open communication to find out what your next steps look like. And it has to be very clear, but also provide yourself some options. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Just kind of have your different schools on the table so that let's say the wait list doesn't happen, that you have all these other quality options um, in the queue. And so this is just one of those major next steps that are happening as we speak. And so again, each school handles these wait lists a little bit differently. And so you want to find out what those schools require, what you need to do, if there's things you have to fill out. And so these are just kind of the things that um, you want to look for. If there's anyone in the chat that want to add to this, I know waitlist can be a very sensitive subject, but um, if I could get from the group, those in the audience, if you guys are okay at this point, if you could type okay in the chat to let me know that you guys are hanging in there. All right. That's just wonderful. And please, if there are any questions, type it in the chat. We're here to answer everything. Again, we have a lot of helping hands in the room, and so they can help answer a lot of your questions. Another thing that came up, which is very, very important. So this is mainly for the seniors. Again, no, I guess for all ages. So when you are entering whatever college you're going towards after high school, just know that there are a ton of resources available on every single college campus. The thing here is to just get involved, know your resources. I'll start with the instructors. Every instructor, I know for University of Hawaii, instructors are required to have 1 hour of office hours each week. And so when students ask about, oh, what if I'm struggling in class? What do I do? Your first line would be your instructor. Talk to them. They have office hours, email them, meet them after class, but they're there for you. Your next layer would be tutoring services if you need help on the academic side. So there's a lot of free tutoring support at every single college campus. And there's your counselors. There's a lot of us. And so if you look at the next line for counselors, I can say at Kapi'olani, it's safe to say for all the other universities, we have academic advisors, we have mental health and wellness, we have career counselors, you name it, we have it. The difference between, I would say, high school and college, what we do at the college side is we lay out all your resources in front of you. And it's up to the student to make their way to those resources. Whereas for high school, a lot of times we will pull you out of classes or we will, call you in. It's very different in higher ed. But what we try to do is make ourselves readily available. Like we just put ourselves out there. Um, some advisors will go into their student union. Some advisors will sit themselves in their libraries because we just want to make sure that there's resources out there to help them through their college journey. A lot for our Hawaii kids, um, not to put Stacy on the spot, so she may be able to address it. But for a lot of our Hawaii kids who leave the island, there's a little bit of homesickness. But there's again resources. There's people out there to help kind of plow through those challenging moments when you're looking out the window and all you see is snow and you don't see the surf, or you go to when I used to live in San Francisco, I went to this place where they served chicken katsu, where I thought it was chicken katsu and it was not. So I was like, what is going on here? So it's getting through those things where you just kind of reach out to those resources to kind of get that support that you need. Other programs that are out there are like peer mentoring, programs like Trio. A lot of colleges have first year experience programs to help students transition in their first year. There's some schools that have second year transition programs. There is just a lot of support out there. And I can't say enough about getting involved. When you talk about the college experience, join a club. Like if your child was active in, say, student government, join that. Uh, sometimes when you get involved, you start to link to like-minded people. They could be from different countries, different states, but you have this common interest. And so by getting involved in clubs or anything that involves linking students to a common interest really helps create that well-rounded college experience. So academic is one thing, but really creating that life balance is the other. And so getting involved, again, student activities, support programs can really kind of help get you through those difficult times. Questions on next steps? Anyone? Anyone from the counseling side want to chime in on possible next step that you folks seen from your experience meeting with your students? Anyone that would like to share? Any insights? So we're getting a lot of great questions in the chat, and we really, really appreciate it. And let me try to answer some from maybe from the community college side. It kind of goes back to it depends. And so for the different schools, they have different transfer requirements. I want to say it ranges from 24 college level credits and a certain GPA all the way up until I've seen 56 transferable credits and a certain GPA. It ranges. And so what I talk to a lot of families about is to backwards map. If they plan on staying in Hawaii and perhaps starting at one of the local colleges here on Oahu or even the neighbor islands, is to reach out to, say, like Tyler. Say you want to go, my plan is to go to Northern Arizona, but I want to start in Hawaii. What can I do now? And so then it's kind of creating that again, that backwards map to find, okay, what can I do at the community colleges that help me line up to get into Northern Arizona? And so that creates a very mindful process on what you can do now so that you're meeting the needs of your end goal. And so it's never too early. Again, these college fairs, talk to those reps there and just share, be very transparent about your plans. Like, I want to start here. What can I do now? And they might tell you, okay, you need to take these classes, you need to take those classes. We want to get you get involved with this and that. They might provide you again a sort of a blueprint of what maybe they're looking for. But again, not to throw all your eggs in one basket. Look at all the transfer opportunities out there to make a decision that's right for you. So for a lot of our local colleges here, being that the CC is an accredited institution, and that's another thing you want to find out. Wherever you start, you want to make sure that they're accredited so that your credits will be accepted at other institutions outside of Hawaii. And so, Mary, those are great questions. But the chat is still going. I am going to hand it over to Stacy. There's our contact information just in case. But I'm hand over to Stacy. But before we do this, should I start the video first?
I'll do a little hello first.
Yes, go for it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Stacy Rosa. I'm the Community Partnerships Manager with HawaiiUSA Federal Credit Union. I'm very happy to be here with you folks. This is something that I'm very passionate about. Just to share a little bit of my background and why I enjoy having these conversations with other parents and the students. I am a mom, first and foremost, and I want you all, Sheldon started off by saying that picture of the man, pulling his hair out was how he's feeling right now as a father of a senior. I'm here to let you guys know with my happy, calm, smiling face that you do come out of it on the other side alive and well, and you will get through it. I'm a mom of both a college graduate as well as a sophomore right now. And so I'm kind of on my journey for the second round, and I'm so glad to know what I know from the first one. And so I hope to be able to share some of that insight with you folks and just, real life talk story about, how it actually looks, feels, and sounds. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into what I'm here to share with you guys first of all. And so again, I'm with HawaiiUSA Federal Credit Union. And, at the credit union, we know that college, like other life events, it's a huge and exciting milestone for both your student as well as the entire family. And so we are here to help both the students and parents prepare financially, because that is one component, but it is a rather large component for your college journey. And we want to make sure that you guys are able to make whatever your higher education dreams are come true. So I wanted to start off by just sharing a short video. And this is a video of Kelvin Naito. He is one of our Hawaii USA members and also a medical student. And he's going to share a little bit about his personal college journey. So go ahead, Sheldon.
I started my first bank account right before I went off to college. Opening that bank account really provided me that first step into independence. My student debt definitely makes me anxious and worried for Hawaii USA providing me that scholarship. It really eases the burden for me to continue my education. Although it's super hard and challenging and huge time commitment, it's definitely worth it.
Thank you. So, like Kelvin, we're here to help you guys prepare for that first step into independence. And contrary to popular belief, most people probably sitting there thinking, oh, of course, the financial institution is sponsoring this. They want to give us a loan. And contrary to popular belief, hopefully you'll see through the next slides, we're really here just to help you guys make smart decisions. Should it come to that? Yeah, sure, we could help you with products that can help fund the financial journey for you folks. But it really is top of mind for us to help you guys find all the free money you can find first. And only once that has been exhausted is when we can turn the conversation to talk about, okay, what are some of the other options that we can help you with? But we're really here to help you find the free stuff first. So let's jump into some just kind of 5 money essentials that are really important for you guys as you're starting to think about your college journey. To start planning for. I think when it comes to finances, and again, speaking from my own personal experience with my daughter who is now 26, getting her ready with financial responsibility was kind of an afterthought. And it wasn't until we ran into some hurdles when she was already all the way in Oregon and we're in Hawaii where we're like, shucks, we probably should have did that a little sooner. We probably should have thought about that beforehand. So again, just 5 real quick smart money management tips for you folks as you're getting ready to go on this college journey. So the first one is, don't rely only on P2P apps. Do go and get yourself a free checking account. So P2P apps are going to be like your Venmos, your Zelle. I think Cash App is considered like that as well. And you might be thinking, especially for the students, you're probably thinking, checking account, like where you got to write checks. Like, I'm not planning to write any checks ever. I don't know, some of you parents might not even write checks anymore, maybe just once a year to pay your taxes or something like that. But you'd be surprised. And even those P2P apps do still need to have connection to a legitimate bank account. And most of the times they're going to be asking you to connect to a checking account. Checking accounts are essential. It's an all-in-one money management tool for you. It's also a safe and insured place to keep your money. And with checking accounts, you actually, differently from a savings account, when you establish a checking, you give yourself a lot more options to access that money. And so some of those ways, of course, you could write checks, you could have a debit card, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. You also want to have a place for your money to be able to go into. So as you're on this college journey, whether it's money coming from mom, dad, grandma, auntie, sending you a little bit, so you can go get snacks or go see a movie or whatever, or it's a paycheck or it's scholarship money, you're going to need somewhere for that money to be able to go into. Similarly, you're going to need a way for your money to come out. Maybe you need to pay rent. Maybe you need to pay for utilities if you're living off campus. You're going to need a way for you to be able to get money in and out. And like I said, even the P2P apps are going to require you to connect to some form of a legitimate established bank account. So if you're a senior, for our seniors in the group here tonight, for us at Hawaii USA, and every financial institution is a little bit different, but for us at Hawaii USA, At 15 years old with a valid government ID, so whether it's a state ID, a passport, a driver's license if you have one, I think you can get one at 15 or 16. But at 15 years old with a valid ID, you can open a checking account and you can get yourself an ATM card. Once you hit the age of um, 16 or 17 and older, then you can move on to having a debit card as well. One tip for you folks, my daughter was really keen on having a bank account that was all hers, and she didn't want my husband and I to be able to touch it or to be joint on it. I would highly, highly suggest, at least in the beginning, have a parent or a trusted guardian on the account with you, and a little bit as to why. Let's see. Next one, Sheldon. Thank you. So if you do, again, moving on and still talking about checking accounts, how you're going to access the money, you do want to get yourself a free debit card. You don't want to wait till the last minute. So again, just, some of those afterthoughts, it was like, oh, she's going to need a debit card. Well, spoiler alert, debit cards are not necessarily right there when you say you want it. They do take time to order, to print, to come, and to be mailed. And so you really want to make sure you go and get yourself set up with a debit card early on. And the other reason too is before your student goes away, you want to give them the opportunity to use that debit card responsibly and to be able to, establish good financial habits. And hopefully you as a parent or guardian can be there to guide them along the way and to help answer questions when they're wondering like, oh, how come I tried to use it and it said declined, or, this and that, whatever questions they have. You really want to be able to give them the opportunity to test it out and get used to how the debit card works. You might be thinking, how can it be free to get money? So one of the biggest things for us as a credit union, of course, when you go to the mainland, if you plan to go to the mainland or anywhere outside of Hawaii for that matter, and you try to access your money by putting your debit or your ATM card into a ATM machine, you're not going to find a HawaiiUSA machine or a Bank of Hawaii or one of those local machines on the mainland. But for us, our checking account, it truly is free in the sense that we have a eLife checking account, which with certain requirements met each month, you can get any ATM fees that were charged to you reimbursed. And then similarly as well, because we are a credit union, we are a part of a co-op networking system where there are thousands, literally thousands of other credit unions around the world that you could walk into their location and you could say, hi, I'm a HawaiiUSA member. My name is this, my account number is that, here's my ID, and they will be able to access your account for you and help you with simple transactions like deposits and withdrawals. Again, most important thing, if you are thinking about establishing a debit card, don't wait till the last minute. It does take time to get that card into your possession. And you want to make sure that it's working and all your questions are answered before you're 3,000 miles away and need to get a hold of someone. All right, third tip, use the free digital banking tools. So nowadays, there's so much that you can do digitally, whether it's from your laptop, your computer, or from your smartphone. You really do have the ability to take control of your finances. And some of the biggest, best tools available to you through digital banking, you can lock or unlock your debit card. My daughter was famous for thinking she lost her debit card or left it at the bar. Thinking she left it at the bar, and then only to find out that, she's, Mom, close my card, someone might find it and start using it and take all my money, only to wake up the next morning and realize it was in the back pocket of her jeans. And she's like, oh no, am I gonna have to wait another, 3 weeks until they can send me a brand new card? And so, now she graduated college in 2019. So back then, yeah, we probably would have had to close her card and order her new one. But nowadays we have, through digital banking, you can actually lock, unlock, or freeze, unfreeze your debit card. And you can say, oh my gosh, I don't know what happened to it. Let's go into my app, let's lock it up, let's freeze it. So if someone did get a hold of it, they can't use it. And then when you find it, at the bottom of your purse or in your back pocket somewhere, oh, okay, I did have it all this time, and you can unlock it and it'll start working for you again. You can also do things like monitor your credit score. We have some great tools that help you to monitor your credit score. You can see what's happening to it. Is it going up? Is it going down? Why is it changing? What's happening? And again, we've got some great tools for credit score monitoring on our digital banking. You can also track your spending and get alerts. So if you've never taken the time to kind of just, and not just students, parents too, if you've never taken the time to really sit down and think about where your money goes on a daily basis, try our digital banking spending or budgeting tools that we have on there. It's probably going to be really eye-opening for you. I realized after using it just for 1 week that I probably have a Starbucks problem. I probably spend more money on Starbucks than I do on gas for my car. And that's saying a lot, especially with gas prices being so high. But, use the tracking tools just so that you can see and better visualize what's happening with your money. A lot of times people don't realize just how much money is flowing in or flowing out of their account. And to be able to see where exactly it's going, you're able to make adjustments. For my daughter, she realized very quickly that she was eating out way too much. And she was eating out even though I was paying for a meal plan for her to eat at the cafeteria for 3 meals a day and 2 snacks. So there was really no need for her to be spending any of her cash money on outside food. You can also get alerts. Alerts, you can set them yourself. So if you want to know, let me know when I've only got $100 left in my account so that I can slow down my spending. Or let me know when there's a charge for more than $50 on my debit card, because there's not really anything that I can think of that I'd be purchasing or spending that much money on. So let me know if something comes through so that I can check it and make sure it was me. Okay, parents, don't get mad, but I'm gonna give this tip to your kids, okay, to the students. Don't share your credentials, okay? And this is your login, your password, any way for people to get into your account to see it. I say this because even if you have an account that's joint with your parents, you will have your own credentials, your own login, your own password, where you can go in and you can see what you're entitled to see. So what I mean by that is, for my daughter, she has an account and she has a savings. She has 2 savings, a checking, a credit card. I am joint with her on her checking account. I am not joint with her on her savings, and I'm not joint with her on her credit card. When I log in with my credentials, I can see the checking account that I'm joint with her on. I can see what's happening in there, what's going in, what's going out. I cannot see anything else unless she wants me to see it and she shares it with me. When she logs in, she can see everything that belongs to her. It's a step to independence. It's a step to financial responsibility. You might be thinking, well, I need to see everything. I'll give you guys, again, real life situations. I'll give you guys a little tip as to how you may get a little bit of a shocker moving forward with college life. The same thing's going to happen with your kids and their grades at the college. Just because you're paying the tuition bill does not mean that you're going to have access to see their grades. That is going to be something, again, where most likely your student's going to be told, don't share your login credentials with anyone. And if you want to know what those grades are, you're going to have to ask the student, to share that with you. So I know it's a little bit of a shocker, and you're probably thinking like, what? Why are you telling them not to tell us stuff? But you know, it's all a part of gaining that financial independence, and it's the reality of what's good, what you're in for coming up in the future. So Sheldon, next one, please. All right, so I kind of jumped ahead to this one earlier and I kind of alluded to it, but this was just talking about how you don't want to have to pay fees to withdraw your money from an ATM. You want to be able to use free ATMs and or the cashback. So like I was saying, you know, for us at Hawaii USA, we have a specific checking account that is designed. We recognize that a lot of people are probably going to be away from Hawaii, whether you're traveling for family vacation or you're away for, you know, a few years for college, or maybe you even move to the mainland at some point. That is going to be something that, you know, you want to be able to keep your Hawaii USA account. You want to be able to access your funds. And these are ways in which you can. So whether you're setting up our account that will reimburse any ATM fees that you're charged, or again, you utilize our co-op network of shared branches. Those are all ways that you can get access to your money for free without having to pay fees, because every little fee adds up. All right, Sheldon, number 5, last tip for you guys tonight. Do start building credit, but don't treat it like free money. Okay, so a lot of parents will say, you know, when's the right time for their teen or their young adult to get a credit card? And it's really, there's just like Sheldon was saying with everything else, there's no black and white. There's no once they turn 18, they should get a credit card. It really varies on an individual basis. They should be able to demonstrate responsible use with a debit card before going ahead and getting access to a credit card. Debit cards and credit cards are different for those, you know, maybe for the students on the call that are not aware. When you utilize a debit card, you're accessing money that you have in your account, right? So it's money that's there that when you spend it, it comes out of your account. Versus when you're using credit, every time you make a purchase with a credit card, you're borrowing money. You're using money that you don't have at the moment, but that you will be responsible to pay back. And you can use credit wisely. You can use credit and end up not paying any fees for having borrowed that money. Or on the other side of that coin, if you use it irresponsibly, you could end up paying a lot for something that should have just been $30. By the time you finish paying it off, you could have, that $30 McDonald's charge could end up being $300 if you're not careful. So were those chicken nuggets really worth it? Probably not. So yeah, again, the good thing about establishing credit is that at most likely at some point in your life, you will come across a financial milestone where credit is going to be necessary. So whether it's purchasing a new automobile, purchasing a new home, taking out a loan for some reason, right? It's all of those things are going to require that you have some kind of a credit history, and your payment history, how you use your credit, starting off with probably the simplest or the first entry into building credit, a credit card. All of that's going to show up for financial institutions to take a look and see how credit worthy are you and how responsible are you with funds that you're essentially borrowing. All right. Lastly, okay, so remember how I said in the beginning, we want at Hawaii USA, we truly are here to help you guys find all the free money that you can first before looking into other financing options to make your college or your after high school dreams come true. And so one of the ways that we do that directly is by offering a Hawaii USA scholarship. We offer 20 scholarships each year. They are valued at $2,000 each. They're open to high school seniors, undergraduates, and graduate students. The one stipulation, and again, this is where starting early or planning ahead comes into play, one of the qualifications is that you do have to be a Hawaii USA member for at least 1 year with us at the point where you apply. A couple of things to note about our scholarship. Even after your freshman year of college, you can continue to apply for the scholarship each year. The other good thing, and one of the things that makes our scholarship a little different from some other ones, is that when we award you the $2,000 scholarship, those funds are not paid directly to the school. Those funds, the $2,000, is paid directly to the student. And why I share that is sometimes, looking back on my daughter's journey, she was able to get several scholarships, small ones here, there, everywhere, but every little bit added up. And the majority of those scholarships went and were paid or applied directly to her tuition bill at the college. When she was awarded a Hawaii USA Employee Dependent Scholarship, that $2,000 was given to her in her name, and she was able to put that into her checking account. And so because she had enough in scholarships from other places that her tuition was able to be covered, she was able to hold on to that $2,000 and to use it, at her discretion for other things that, sometimes we forget about, but things that are really important, like travel, to be able to come back home to Hawaii during breaks or during holidays. Or maybe you want to be able to buy a bigger TV for your dorm room, or maybe you're going to need winter clothing, or you want to take a snowboarding excursion one weekend during Christmas time. That money is there for you to use on your college journey, but not necessarily, it's not going to go directly to the school itself. So again, an opportunity for you to use those funds and to practice financial responsibility. All right. I think this is the last one, filling the funding gap. So at that point, this is where the serious conversations need to happen. Hopefully there have been serious conversations, open, honest conversations amongst the entire family about what is reasonable and affordable. And so when the time comes, hopefully it's not a shocker where you're thinking like, oh, how are we going to pay for the rest of that? We weren't anticipating having to pay that much. Hawaii USA does have options for you. We can work with you to find the best option when it comes to looking for other avenues to fill the funding gap. But again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one because we really want you guys to find the free money first and only come to us to have the conversation about those other options once you've exhausted all of that. If you scan that QR code, it will take you to a digital version of the college guide, I believe, or it will take you to where you can contact us for more info. And then if I may, I saw Tyler put a little something in the chat earlier about it, but Sheldon, would you mind going back to the slide that had the 4 costs of college comparison sheet? I wanted to go back and just touch on it in case you guys might have missed Tyler's comment in the chat. There you go. So when Sheldon was talking about this, Tyler had put in the chat to, don't forget, this is kind of, it's quite shocking when you look at this, not gonna lie. I saw something similar to this at one of our very first parent night meetings at my daughter's school about colleges, and they actually had all the different colleges listed and this price when Tyler referred to as the sticker price. I just wanted to bring this back up because again, as a parent, I want to make sure that nobody immediately closes off any options for discussion based on this sticker price. And so the best analogy I can give you guys and how it was explained to me is this is like a car, right? You go to the car dealership and they have the sticker price on the window. That's not necessarily what you'll end up paying for the car. It could be a little more or it could be a little less. But that's just kind of like the starting point. And so for us, on our personal journey with my daughter. My daughter did go to, I guess it would be considered the Continental Private 4-year. Is that what Pacific is, Sheldon? Okay. My daughter attended Pacific University in Oregon, Forest Grove, so it would be considered that Continental Private 4-year college. It wasn't quite that much. I believe our sticker price was $64,000, and that initial sticker price, when you're looking at it compared to University of Hawaii Manoa, which I think was maybe at the time 12,000 or 14,000, you look at those two sticker prices, and immediately my husband and I were like, "Girl, you going UH? Don't even look at any of those colleges on the mainland. You crazy? We don't have that kind of money." But if I can leave you guys with any parently advice, I would say don't close off any options, only because at the end of the day, you really have to look at the whole package and what you end up with. For us in our situation, what we would have paid as a family out of our pockets, so the amount of money we would have had to pay out of our pocket for her to attend University of Hawaii was ended up being more than what our out of pocket was for her to go to Pacific. And one of the biggest reasons for that is University of Hawaii, of course, is a local public school versus, or a state school versus private. And so although my daughter's school sticker price was $64,000, because they were a private institution, they were able to offer her a lot more money in merit right off the bat, based on her GPA and her grades and her application. Right off the bat, they sent her a congratulations, you're accepted, and here's how much we're going to be able to give to you in financial aid. And that took a huge chunk out from 64. And so at the end of the day, what we would have had to pay for her to stay home and go to UH would have been more out of our pocket than we ended up paying for her to go to Pacific. It's not always going to work out that way, but I share that with people just because for us, if we had closed the door on Pacific or any other school on the mainland based on the sticker price, and we just said go to UH, in the end, we would have actually paid more in our particular situation. So don't close off, options. Always explore. The biggest thing when you're looking at anything to do with paying or the financial side of what it's going to cost, biggest thing I can tell you guys is just have the open, honest, real serious conversations as a family, so that nobody gets their hopes up only to realize in the end. I really, kind of Sheldon's story about, really wanting to go to UC Berkeley and then only to find out financially it's not going to be possible as a family. And then, if you can mitigate those types of sadness or disappointment, or, or even just realizations, and have to have those tough conversations at that point. I think if you go into it knowing as a family what's affordable and realistic for you, when you start looking and you start seeing financial aid packages come, the conversations are a lot easier with your student. And they understand as well, because there was no miscommunication on, well, I thought you guys would be able to pay, I didn't realize you guys only were going to be able to pay X amount. If that's the case, I would have never looked. So anyway, I want to make sure I leave time for Q&A. If anyone has any questions specifically about HawaiiUSA or how we can help you guys on your journey, please, Sheldon's going to share this information with you guys. Feel free to reach out and contact us, and I will turn it back to Sheldon for Q&A.
Thank you. And I know it's set to 7, but it's very loose, so we will hang around if there are any questions you folks want to throw in the chat or anything at all. I mean, you have a great team here tonight that can answer a lot of your questions. There was just a lot of great questions in the chat throughout the whole presentation, so really appreciate that. But yeah, I think there are some meaty conversations to be had. Well, it was really great. And I know I had said this before in the presentation when I saw the graduation years of some of the families out there. It was really refreshing to see a lot of the families with younger students diving into this, wanting to know more information, which lends for time to do those deeper dives on college conversations. For us at Kapiolani, we have a lot of middle schools that visit us, and not that I mean, we were trying to push KCC, but what's really great is the questions that come out of these 7th and 8th graders' minds, because they are thinking about that next step and they want to flush it all out, which is great. And I know this sounds like one of those old statements, but there's never ever a silly questions, and so they'll ask just very honest questions, and it's just great because it provides us a reference point moving forward. Um, I don't think college offers siblings discounts from what I know, but um, to the college folks out there, that is a great question.
Or you could save money by having them live together, share an apartment, share a car, that sort of thing. If I could add one more thing, just
Of
again,
course.
for us, because it was something unexpected that we encountered, and it was a real big aha moment for us. When it comes to the FAFSA and your financial aid, just know that you have to do it every year. um, Although there may be some scholarships or some financial aid packages that say, you're awarded X amount over 4 years, or things like that, you are going to have to do your FAFSA year after year. And if there are significant changes to your household throughout that year, your financial aid packages could potentially change as well. So just keep that in mind. It can be a daunting task anytime you're doing financial aid type paperwork. It can be daunting. You've got to get a lot of stuff together. You've got a lot of numbers and all that good stuff. But always, always, always do it, because if you don't, you're guaranteed to get nothing. Right? So you want to at least fill it out and just start early. Once we did it the first time, and I knew what was expected and what you had to provide as far as information throughout the next coming years, I just would, anytime I got a document or a financial piece of paper that I knew was going to end up being needed for the FAFSA, I'd throw it into a folder. And that way, when it came time, I didn't have to go searching for stuff.
There's some great questions in the chat. Finances, like everyone said, it's on everyone's mind at the very top.
This might be easier to answer in person than to type out an exceptionally long answer to a couple financial aid questions.
Yes.
But what happens after you complete your FAFSA? Do you need anything after that? Sort of. So when you complete the FAFSA, I think the very last page, I filled out the FAFSA on paper, so it's been a while. It will ask you, what universities do you want to send this to? It's not enough just to complete the FAFSA. You have to have the FAFSA sent to those schools. And correct me if I'm wrong on the high school side, it's 10 or 12 schools that you can send to at one time. The universities will then take that information and process it, because what NAU is going to offer your student is going to be different than what Kapiolani Community College is going to offer, because they cost different things. So it's the same information, but processed in a different way. As far as that, the school should send you a financial aid package, either virtually or paper or both. Typically, if you commit to the university, any scholarships and grants, you don't have to do anything with. Loans do have to be accepted. The student loans, once the student accepts them, are guaranteed. What's called the parent, well, it's not called the Parent Plus loan, it's just the Plus loan now. Families do still have to apply to it because there is a credit check to it. So yes, there will be some next steps. I will also tell you from the university side, we want you to do these next steps. We will send you and your students lots of reminders about that, but your student needs to be checking their email, which might be the hardest part of this whole process, is to getting them to log into their university email and do those appropriate next steps. But As far as providing additional documentation or anything like that, typically no, but again, the universities will reach out to you if they do need additional information.
If I could add, maybe expand, again, going back to the open communication, yes, checking email, very critical, and also encouraging your child to communicate to you what's been sent out on email, or if there's anything that needs to be submitted by a certain deadline. Most colleges will only email the students, even though they're 16, 17, however, they will only email the child. I can say now, as a senior parent, we'll get just highlights on what to anticipate, but we won't know what was sent to the child's account. And so we would communicate with our son regularly to just ask, did you get anything about housing? Did you get anything about aid? Did you get anything in the list? So you just want to keep that dialogue open. Again, much like Stacey shared, we're not going into their accounts. We're just sitting side by side with them, just kind of wrapping them around with support, just making sure that they're getting the information, we are getting the information, and that we are all kind of moving lockstep together towards this end goal. Communication is the key. It's so important. Also, know for the families in the room, Hawaii P20 offers, I think, almost monthly free financial aid workshops. They might have tapered it off because we're kind of at the tail end of the school year. But in the start of the next school year, please keep an eye out on your school's academic calendar, because they will be holding a lot of financial aid workshops in heavy detail. They will sometimes offer it virtually, sometimes maybe they'll go to the schools, but there's a lot of workshops out there around financial aid. Please attend them, and attend them more than once. Sometimes the information is so overwhelming that you might miss certain things. So attend like 2 or 3 of them. Even though it might be repeat information, it may be new information, because now you can shift focus on what's being presented. And so just know through Hawaii P20, you can even go on our website, HawaiiACAC.org, to look at the different workshops that are being posted. Just, again, great information that's out there. We'll give it a few minutes. And I just want to honor everyone's time. Just want to thank you all for carving out time in your busy day to be with us tonight. Lay, Tyler, Stacy, thank you. Berto, who had to log off, thank you guys for coming by and supporting our families too. This has been very, very great. But this is being recorded. I will post it on our YouTube page once we get it up and running. I will do my best to send out these slides to you all through email in a PDF form. You have the HACAC website on the page in front of you. This is HawaiiUSA FCU's website. Lots of information out there. Please don't hesitate to reach out. We are so thrilled to help all families increase their awareness about their post-high options, and just helping you all throughout this journey. But thanks again. Again, we'll hang around, but have a wonderful night, and we'll see you at the next college fair.